if you're buying software from companies that have these legacy tech stacks, not only are they hard to iterate on, they're hard to hire good talent for. The likelihood that they're able to continue to innovate and keep on par with modern solutions that are coming to market is virtually zero. Don't just rely on your in-house counsel to go, hey, here's an RFP. Does it do this, 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 this? First, I think a checklist of does it have these things is kind of stupid. Some of the tools out there, quite frankly, they're awful.
Any software funded by VC also wouldn't be a good choice because the priorities of venture capital wouldn't be necessarily creating the best value for the end user.
Well, we have a VC on the line.
I love it, man.
How do you think of that?
Bonjour, crew. We are back in action, and today we're going to be speaking about world models. Hey, can you guys let me know how many of you familiar or have heard of the term world models before? We did speak about it a couple of weeks ago, but are you also familiar with this?
World models?
Yeah. Okay, so
like
looks like just me and Martin.
Do you mean like
yeah, Martin is thinking of like America's top models.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like that's the first thing. Like world's
Miss Universe for Martin.
Yeah.
Universe models.
Oh, very good. Well, actually, maybe that's what we will be.
What else did you have in mind? Okay, tell us.
Well, so with this Yann LeCun, who is an AI, one of the top thinkers of AI in the world. I think he won an Alan Turing Award, right, from memory. He has just raised a $1 billion funding round to do some further research into world models. But there could be an interesting overlap with how it relates to the construction industry for people. So we'll talk about that. We'll do some quick fire industry news. Dustin, you have released some cool content around how people should buy software. Sounds kind of strange, right? But I guess no one really talks about how to buy software.
No, they don't. We'll go in deeper in it.
Yeah, sure. And then in around 45 minutes, we will have Lena-Marie from Sitegeist and Adam from LLMs. Lena has raised a €4 million seed round for robotic concrete demolition, and Adam $12 million Series A for LLMs for industrial equipment repairs. And that will be that, my friends. But what we were discussing beforehand was, why don't we give our audience a little bit of an update as to what we have all been doing in our professional lives. If you want to go personal, it's up to you, but we can keep this professional over the last week or so. Martin, you want to go first? Please don't show us the video of that skydiving again.
Sure. Well, so I have a statement here. Tech will not. Tech is not going to solve your problems, and that's my statement. The reason I'm saying this is we all think. Well, I think in my engineering business that okay, I've got all of these spreadsheets. I've got these 30 projects every single month, new projects coming in, and there's 6 engineers that have to do them and communicate with clients and we need some sort of CRM, okay? CRM or system of record that we will be running the business through. And I thought, okay, let's get something on. And I've been trying to implement Zoho for the last almost 3.5 months. And it's been an absolute pain, okay? So I'm just saying that technology is not going to solve your problems, at least in my version.
But are you sure the technology is the problem here?
Martin, you're my friend. You can call me and I can help here.
Well, I'm not implementing it myself. I've got someone who we hired to implement it. She said it's going to take us 2 weeks. It's been 3rd month. Okay, and there's 2 people.
That's classic CRM.
And there's 2 people in my team.
And it's Zoho.
And there's 2 people on my team who communicate with her every single day, making sure this is put in that. But I think the main problem actually is not on our side. I think on Zoho side, because the delay between the responses that we request things from the team over there, by the time they get back to us, it's like 2-3 days. And there's sometimes usually simple things, seems like changing over email or whatever, just cannot be done because we do not do this, blah, blah, blah. It's just complete nightmare and nonsense. So yeah, that's
I just want to see Dustin's reaction when you call him up, and the first thing you say is, "Hey, Dustin, I need some help." Dustin's like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "I need you to help me implement my Soho CRM." It's like,
Yeah.
I've got something else I should be doing.
Can you guess my first response?
Yeah.
Sure.
Fuck off.
Stop what you're doing right now.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no, but my thoughts are that we all want the dashboards. On the dashboard, you want to see what's happening, like where is the stage of this project, is it invoice or not, etc. And I would love that, but it is not as the implementation part. I think it's very underrated. That's the word. And I thought it's just not going to be such a difficult thing.
One point on the Zoho marketing motion is kind of strange. I actually see their posters at like my very local train station here in London. So it makes you think that they go like to very hyper localized, smaller types of businesses versus like the inner London city, larger firms.
I mean, yeah, that's Zoho's target group.
Yeah, well, which actually feels to me that there is a huge and will be a growing market of consultants helping to implement. You call them, I think, forward.
It's always been the way, though.
Not forward-thinking engineers, but
like the Salesforce consultant implementation, which we spoke about.
Implementation engineers.
Out of curiosity, why did you not choose HubSpot or Salesforce?
What's
think
that?
No. I think there was the pricing. They were more expensive than Zoho. I think that was my driving.
Do you think there might be Do you think there might be a correlation between pricing and service?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your total cost?
Maybe
actual total cost.
Maybe.
Poor Martin. I just feel sorry for you when you involve yourself with technology. I think you should leave it to someone else.
Well, I'm just observing it, and I'm still frustrated. I'm
10 meters per second squared.
All right. Who has something more interesting?
Dustin, you go next.
From a business perspective, I have 2 new opportunities kind of outside of Edify that I'm very, very excited about. I think I'll share one later on, but I'm trying to learn more about all the areas of construction. My primary life has been very general contractor centric, so I want to learn the life of like every person in this complicated ecosystem. So I actually am joining the board of a very large subcontractor company. They've asked me to join the board. They're one of the largest ones in California, expanding across the nation. And so I've gotten to know them over time, and they just said, listen, we want someone to come to our team that brings a different perspective. And I thought it was going to be a great learning experience for me to understand how these people who actually produce the work think about the work, think about how they're growing their business. They're doing some organically, some through M&A. And I'm super, super excited about that. I think it's going to make me a better leader for Edify moving forward, because some of the things we want to do is not just support estimating from a GC perspective, but also self-perform estimating for our GCs and for the trade contractors that are still putting a lot of the work in place. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. Like literally that we finalized that this week. So
that's very
I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, nice story. Are they like in a specific trade, or can you not share that kind of level of information?
They're concrete. They're massive for a concrete subcontractor.
Oh wow! So very like traditional, yeah, in air quotes. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just excited. I want to learn more about downstream to the GC, and I want to learn more about upstream. So
they used to call concrete the gray gold in construction.
Never heard that. That's great.
Concrete the gray gold.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like these days, but you'll find out soon, and you can tell us how that's taken up. Patrick, how about you?
So my job is that I always have, 20 parallel processes going on between all the things that I oversee. So it's not that common that I have this one thing that I get to focus on, and I can now just have my teeth sunk into that specific thing, and then every week I can now tell you, hey, by the way, but just to pick one out of these 20 plus, I'm currently actually designing my dream monthly investor update, the one that I wish other founders would share or would have shared with me. And that's actually a pretty cool exercise right now. I'm also putting it immediately in a way where you can actually make it interactive. So not like an email letter or whatever, but actually interactive in the sense that I can click through this framework and then it shows the highlights of the section so that it's easily communicatable. So that to me has been one of these 20 plus things I've been doing and moving forward in parallel, but I've been enjoying that.
Is this so that you can like get the most useful information with as quick as possible?
More so to help a founder and its board to immediately cut to, okay, what did we ship? What are we shipping next? But most importantly, what are the bottlenecks, which is a very undercommunicated art for founders within, but then also founders and their most trusted resources and well-wishers. And then actually breaking that down along a management system of the company, which is another underdeveloped form. So most founders actually take templates that exist on the internet or other founders shared with them, but actually they don't really get to the crux of, hey, this is why we're taking certain decisions. This is giving you a feeling and a sense of the shipping velocity and the increasing rate of legibility of the business and the bottlenecks that we're seeing. So I can only encourage every founder out there to think about what is your management system, how you're running the business, and think about the bottlenecks in your business. And if that's the core of how you communicate with yourselves and with your well-wishers, it's probably a better way of maybe what you're doing right now.
Very good.
Very cool. From my side,
Yeah.
as always, interesting conversations that we've been having, Bricks and Bytes, a ton of them not released yet. I will maybe just tease two of them. One of them was about this with a private equity company who have partnered with Andreessen Horowitz and are looking at how they can bring technology into the construction industry by obviously taking majority stakes in trade contractors and then pairing them up with tech companies.
Yeah.
So
Successfully, or
take.
they just trying?
I think it's new. I think it's a relatively new concept. I'm not like overly familiar with, obviously we dabble with the concept of investment and VC and finance at Bricks and Bytes, but it's definitely not my strongest area of expertise. So I could not judge whether I believe this will be a success or not. But interesting to hear nevertheless and observe.
Yeah, I know of a few P&E funds that are trying to roll up some of these subcontractors because they see them as it's really nicely EBITDA positive, but inefficient. TBD if they can make efficiency gains out of them.
Jury is out. We shall see. And the second was, so I had a conversation with people. If I describe the person, I won't say the name because the conversation is out yet, but if I describe the person, then people will probably connect two and two. But they were an innovation director for a large contractor over here in the UK, and then they went into the Middle East, and they were heading up a large robotics program
I want to
NEOM.
hit the buzzer. I could jeopardy this on you. Yeah.
we could do
Go
it.
on.
We could do a take at the end.
Yeah.
And he had just released a paper about technology within the construction industry and whether the industry as a whole is approaching technology in the right way. It seems that technology is looking at solving what we already do, but not looking at the bigger picture of like, are we actually doing the right thing? So rather than like technology solving like a process or a pain point that exists in the industry, should we actually be zooming out a little bit and looking at the industry as a whole and going for what he calls a moonshot? So his to compare this might be something like Katera, for example. and whether we brought Katera into and tried to recreate it in 2026 onwards, would it now work because of the advancements of technologies, rather than just a lot of the technology that exists, which is like helping us to do submittals better or RFIs or whatever it might be. So thought-provoking. There was definitely no like clear-cut answers, but yeah, when you compare it to how other industries have really developed and changed in the past, it was an interesting discussion.
Was it not the case that with Katera there was too much money and the last lack of focus? So if now someone had too much money again and lack of focus, it would be a similar outcome. So I don't think it's a matter of technology. It's just blown away vision or the lack of focus. Nice.
We got really good energy going. What else you got, Owen?
World models. Okay, so
now Martin's ears propped up. I saw it.
So, shall we start with South America or Europe? No, just kidding. So you would have seen on the news. In fact, maybe 2 weeks or so ago, we spoke about Fei Li's startup, and they had a $200 million investment from Autodesk. I think total round was something like $1 billion. And then this week as well, we had Yann LeCun. I don't know. I think I pronounced that correctly. He's just raised a $1 billion round, $1.03 billion to be precise. And accordingly, he's one of the most famous AI researchers alive. And he is now being funded for the research. This is interesting because I think that he's not being funded to necessarily build a company that delivers world models, but he's being funded for the research, which can help create the technology, which then may be commercialized at a later date. So I think typically...
so is he doing the classic 501c3 and then convert it to a company later so he can
so is that not for profit?
Attract capital at a cheaper... Yeah, that's the move.
He's learning.
I wonder if I can convert Edify to a charity and then reconvert later. Is that a move?
You're doing great things for the world.
If someone can, as you.
I'm disappointed you don't know yet.
I don't. You just bounce around between charity and for-profit. Just bounce around.
When it suits.
Actually, does it say where AMI Labs is located? Because it might be France, not US.
And I think Yann LeCun was like AI director. I haven't got it here, but I think from my research earlier, I think he was maybe at Meta.
He was head of AI research for Meta.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, raised a $1.03 billion at $3.5 billion valuation. So I'm going to explain what world models are, because apparently, according to...
Before you do, I want to point one fun fact out. Dustin, how often have you... What is the maximum number of co-leads you have seen in a venture round?
I can't think of more than 2, to be honest.
So this one has 5 co-leads. Yeah. Cathay, Greycroft, Hero Capital, HV Capital, and Bezos Expeditions are all co-leads.
How does that work?
What is co-lead? What is
Explain
co-lead?
this.
That means that the lead probably didn't do enough of a ticket.
So they probably had five $200 million checks, and then someone came in for 30 at the end. That's how they got to 1.3.
Like that, yeah.
And got another lead position. Big name, maybe.
I interrupted you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So so someone at AMI Labs is the name of his company, which is doing this research for the world models, and someone at that labs actually said that this world models is will be the next buzzword in AI, and that within 6 months, every company will start calling themselves a world model company just to raise money. Similar to how when ChatGPT blew up, everyone slapped AI on their pitch decks.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's probably the next trend.
So apparently this is all the hype at the moment. So what are they?
Should be buying domains.
World models.
Yeah. Or you should buy them through Zoho, Martin.
I think the problem I have with all this stuff is companies want to say they're at the forefront of stuff. It's okay that you're not. Building Connected, we didn't build the craziest technology ever. We focused on making solutions for people, and that's okay. The fact that there are a research lab, and it sounds like the pedigree of people, like they are at the forefront and using world models. But I think it's almost hubris when people conflate what they are with what they try to be something that they're just not. And it's almost like for people that know, I think it degrades their credibility. It's just a weird proposition if people start calling themselves, oh, we have a world model for this.
Yeah. When actually, you're
Doesn't
just
even
creating
sound
good tech. Yeah. I still don't know, like, as I say that, why world models will become the next hype. Like, does anyone know why
what's the
why he
promise?
might be saying this?
What's the promise? That they solve everything?
So look, if you want to understand physics and the interaction of things, LeCun has long argued that transformer-based semantic models will not be able to do that. And I'm not familiar with what exactly his solution is, so I'll pass on even trying to explain it. But the core premise and the core challenge that you always had is that transformers on words will not deliver the understanding of the interactions and the physical interactions in the end of the universe. So that's the core premise that he's operating on.
Fine.
I will make a
Dustin, you
bet
gonna say?
that Autodesk announces at AU this next year. Here's my prediction: that they've created a world model. That's my prediction. At AU, they release their world model for the AE side of the thing. On Forma.
Long Autodesk.
So that would sound like it's an ultimate thing within a industry, right? It's like world model, so they have everything figured out.
Yeah.
It almost feels like we're in some sort of like movie arc, like a Marvel Cinematic Universe, where each stepping stone we raise the bar, and it was like we started with SaaS, and now we're AI, and then we're agents, and now we're at world model, where it's like the finale of we're at Endgame right now.
Where does it go next?
To the next stage.
Universe
model. That's the only answer.
We need a new villain. We're about to kill Thanos.
What happened to the race to Mars? Anyway, so
that's a very good question, by the way. Sorry, let's not gloss over that. I mean, we're spending a lot of time on byte optimization. When are we going to Mars? It's a very good question.
Maybe
I just want us to go to the moon. It's been a while. Go to the moon.
I think we got some shit to sort out down on here first before we go to other planets. Before we infect the other planets, including the moon, again.
Well, the question for all of that, all of these models and all, where is the energy going to come from? And that's my question. Wind.
They're gonna be more efficient, Martin. You're not getting it, bro. It's just gonna be more efficient.
I'm not discussing this with you because you studied energy, so. But I know you're joking right now.
but okay, I'll hold up my sarcasm sign for you. Yeah.
Every house in Europe is going to be built with a wind turbine at the top of the roof.
Beautiful. Oh yeah, there might be
no, it's really
left.
scary. I'm telling you guys, it's really, really scary for me as a European living in this continent.
You look scared.
Because I feel.
Okay, I thought you were moving to Dubai.
Mark was halfway there.
Not a good choice right now. Can we just get into quickly what world models are? Because I feel like people are punching me trying to get this explanation over the line. So let's just do a simple explanation for people, yeah? ChatGPT and other AI chatbots work by predicting the next word in a sentence. This is probably what you've heard when people say probabilistic AI. They're very sophisticated autocomplete, and they're trained on massive amounts of text from the internet. Great at writing essays, answering questions, and sounding smart, but they don't actually understand the physical world. They've never touched anything, seen anything move, or felt gravity. A world model is a different kind of AI. Instead of just processing language, it learns how the physical world works, things like gravity, momentum, and what happens when objects collide. It's trained on video and real-world data rather than just text. And the goal is an AI that can simulate reality, not just talk about it. The simple way to think about it is this. A chatbot can write a paragraph of what happens when you drop a glass. A world model could actually predict how the glass falls, shatters, and where the pieces end up.
But that's more about modeling the behavior of certain physical actions and reactions to this. So It's
Sounds like CFD to me.
Yeah, it's pure mathematics and physics. It's just marketing, putting some marketing and on it and calling it something, but in reality, it's just creating a subset of AI. Yeah.
I'm a little bit hurt, Martin, that you would think that mathematics is just in the end explaining everything. I really want you to come on board here and just understand that you don't need mathematics to run world models. You can just probabilistically assess of what might happen under certain conditions. That's really, you don't need math.
Depends what you want to predict.
Well, what Patrick is saying is what some people are claiming, right? I think, but what this funding enables is for people to actually work out, if you guys call it the mathematical model, the physical model of the world and how things interact with each other. And with that, supposedly a bunch of other opportunity will be unlocked.
Well, why they don't call it as it is, like a physical?
Well, that's boring. Then what are you going to call
it? That's what I'm talking about. They just put the name word because that shows infinity or everything, and that's like figured out that that's it. There's nothing more. We got it.
Have to make it sound appealing, no?
I'm sure you got it from LinkedIn.
Or world models?
Okay.
No. Should we? Yeah. Anyone to add any more on this?
Martin might apply as a judge in the jury.
But how it relates to construction is that buildings obviously exist in the physical world. And if AI can reason about the space and simulate real world outcomes, it could be more useful on a job site than just writing good paragraphs, which is what LLMs do. So very, very early. And I think there's a long time before this stuff becomes commercially usable, but this is like the next stage, should we say?
Maybe.
Why maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
We shall see.
I haven't seen it.
Well, it is the next stage, but maybe it's relevant.
Let's talk about buying software.
Go for it.
So
how do you buy software, Dustin? Then?
Well, I did write a
maybe you
post.
should tell us why it's important, because, like I say, it's kind of a weird thing, but that people don't think about. But there's skill in actually buying software. Yeah?
It is a weird thing, and this isn't. I wrote it more around pre-con, but this is. I'll try to generalize it for our audience, and this applies to anyone who's looking to buy software, including you, Martin.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Now, depending on how big your your organization is, but I think a lot of people like to buy software like they're buying something that's like a house and you're just moving in. And so it's like, what is it today? And they do very little to understand. Like most people don't look at like, what kind of foundation does my house have? They just have inspections. Like, is the house going to be there? Like when you buy software, remember that you're buying software hopefully for a long period of time because it's going to be instrumental into you executing your business. And so in addition to understanding what the software is, understanding how that software was built, what technologies were used in creating that, will help you determine the probability, and nothing's with certainty, of them being able to be a viable product for 5 years, for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. I say that because there is a lot of legacy tools in this market and in the enterprise in general. And many of those tools are built on very, very archaic tech stacks that are not nimble and easy to develop on. And every software company will say, oh, that's on our product roadmap. So if every company says it's on their product roadmap, you have to then therefore assess what's the likelihood that they can actually execute on that product roadmap. So what I would say to any company, and particularly contractors who are not equipped to assess the tech stack, is just reach out to someone in technology you trust and say, hey, which tech stack looks better? And I can tell you, if they have run a modern software company that's dealing with cloud and AI and anything, they're going to be at least be able to give you some guidance to assess, like, okay, you know, are they a desktop solution? Are they using AWS? Are they using Microsoft Azure? What is the backend written in? What is the database that they've chosen? What is the front end? Because all of those technologies actually impact their ability to even hire. If they're old tech stacks, like let's say they're built in .NET, there isn't a good engineer that wants to work in .NET. That's just not a thing. And so if you're buying software from companies that have these legacy tech stacks, not only are they hard to iterate on, they're hard to hire good talent for. So the likelihood that they're able to continue to innovate and keep on par with modern solutions that are coming to market is virtually zero. So you really need to assess these things, not just for today, but for, everything is kind of probabilistic. And, even in physics, the quantum mechanics would say the entire world is probabilistic, but you gotta weigh the likelihoods, and the likelihoods that very old companies, and I'm saying companies we have companies that are 10 or 20 years or older, are able to continue to develop solutions that are going to be as good and as viable and be able to support some of these agent workflows and some of this modernization that we're seeing is almost zero. So I would encourage, don't just rely on your in-house counsel to go, hey, here's an RFP. Does it do this, 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 this? First, I think a checklist of does it have these things is kind of stupid. You should probably say, hey, how do you help me accomplish my job? And show me all the things and how you guys go about it. But also understand where they are, the team behind it, their funding capacities. Are they private equity owned? Some of these software companies, a lot of them are actually owned by P&E funds. They're not necessarily known for reinvesting capital in R&D. That's not their favorite thing at P&E. So I would just employ people to do a little more due diligence on what are you actually buying? Because some of the tools out there, and quite frankly, they're awful.
Not up to standard.
I don't know. Does anyone disagree or agree? Or
I just
out of whack?
but based on the private equity comment, any software funded by VC also wouldn't be a good choice, because the priorities of venture capital wouldn't be necessarily creating the best value for the end user. That would be my.
Well, we have a
very
VC
hot
on the
take.
line.
I love it,
How do
Martin.
you think of that?
I love it.
Do you tell your customers don't create the best, or your companies don't create the best value for the customers?
He's thinking.
Sorry. What? Sorry. Repeat the question exactly. What do I tell my portfolio companies? Don't.
You want me to to say it?
Don't.
Not necessarily. Venture capital interests wouldn't be aligned with the interests of the people buying the software that the venture capital helps funding.
Whoa.
Right now, my brain is considering whether I should go into
just go where you want.
Sales mode, or whether I should go into honest citizen mode. Sales mode it is. Martin, but have you considered how much innovation venture capital has enabled and funded? You have to look at the big picture, and a lot of about 10% of the top 1,100 companies in the world were actually created because of venture money, right? And so most likely these founders would not have been enabled in the same way had the asset class not helped them get that funding. And I think there's a very strong argument to be made that actually competition would be much lower based on technological enablement if there wasn't capital fungibility available to people that can actually mold technology into big businesses. So I think there is a case to be made that actually venture capital is net positive for society.
I'm not saying no, absolutely not. I completely agree with that. I'm completely in agreement with that.
But
Martin, what software would you buy then? Zoho was once a venture capital funded company, and now I believe they're private equity owned.
Would you guys not agree fully that that might not be the interest of venture capital? So, you said that
the earliest startup is
if you're buying a software, you're buying it with the long-term vision, right? You want it to be maintained, to innovate, and all of that, right? I'm just saying that it's not necessarily venture capital interests or any investor interest, can be private equity, whoever it is, to keep pumping money into innovation, which might not be bringing
Return.
the largest return on the investment. And I think that's fair to say.
I just don't think that is very specific to software or technology or investors. That is something that is generically true for every business in a capitalistic regime. You can say the exact same thing to, hey, but here's this ready-mix concrete plant in my town, and it's not in the interest of the owner of that plant to make the product the cheapest possible, unless there is competition. So it's sort of, to me, a almost tautology to ask for the shareholder in a capitalist system, hey, can you please let go of value? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that just fundamentally isn't what that system is. You can debate whether you want the system to exist, but within the system, this is sort of how it works.
I
Plus,
do think,
also,
though.
oh, sorry, Dustin, you go.
So I think that when you have early stage tech companies, I'll say anything, even up to Series C, for their ICP, like the way technology companies are valued is by customer retention and net dollar retention. And the only way those numbers are really good is if you are pleasing your customers. And so VC funded companies are incredibly aligned with customers to retain them and to sell more to them. And I would argue that selling more to them means we're creating more value for them in general. Yes, sometimes people just jack up the costs because there's no competition but just in general, people are buying more of your software, adding more users, then clearly you're creating value and they like your product. And the venture capital market rewards you for reinvesting and operating at cash flow negative, where private equity is trying to increase cash flows. That's literally their goal. So they are very juxtaposed in how they make money. Venture capitalists versus private equity. Venture capitalists make money because they find the next industry leaders that end up creating tremendous value because they land and acquire a disproportionate percentage of particular markets. Private equity takes companies and financially engineers them so they're more profitable, and then can repackage them and sell them and layer on debt and repackage them, sell them and layer on debt. That's a different business model.
Fair, but only when those companies which are successful, which in venture capital is not 90% of them are successful, but I guess very little are really successful.
Yeah.
So then the rest is kind of unreliable.
That is a risk with VC. That is a risk with VC.
Yeah, but from the client's point of view, that's a huge risk.
Well, but isn't the risk also not adopting technology? Isn't the risk basically standing still and not innovating, not getting used to adopting you? I mean, how many organizations have you as a consumer complained about that? Oh my God, why is this interface so archaic? Or why have they not automated this part of the process? Why is this experience so shit?
The new churn,
That's
right?
what happens when you don't try out new technologies.
True.
Yeah. Hey, Dustin, I want to question you on some of these more incumbent softwares, should I say, that are built on older technology stacks. Could it be that is there a correlation that if you are going with a company which is on a very archaic tech stack, say, they're actually more of a stable company than one that is building on a newer stack, thereby it de-risks the purchase of this software for the consumer, because like they're an established company, like they've got, but like, you get the point. Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair consideration. I think you weigh that with, all right, well, the new company, if they're growing, how long until they just start taking away the install base, and then the private equity company is no longer viable? Now, the P&E company is not going to continue to dump in funds, but I think in general they're more stable. I think that's a totally fair assessment. But there's ways to mitigate risk. I just think that anyone should buy whatever they feel comfortable with. But in construction, we're all about mitigating risk. And I can tell you, most people are completely oblivious to the facts that I was talking about earlier. They don't know how to assess technology and to understand, limiting factors on, and to be able to call, bullshit on people who are preaching something that they just cannot possibly do.
Darwinian themes as in technology.
But he brings up a great position, and that's kind of where my point is. How that company is organized, we don't know what the future lays, but which one's most likely to be able to handle the curveballs that are going to be presented to them?
Natural
I swear
selection.
to you, organization is a mode.
Guys, hey, Dustin, Patrick, you have 3 minutes left. And this question just spurred to my head because I have personally been observing the way technology has been going around the world. Is everything going to AI? Obviously, apart from, forget the physical world stuff, let's just talk about software. Is everything going to AI? It certainly seems to be that way.
Everything is not going to AI. AI is going to augment the ability to produce software that performs functions, but you don't need AI to always produce the results, which would be probabilistic, and then therefore you'd have a lot of problems. But software is going to be created using AI that is deterministic, and then therefore solves the problems. So we use a shit ton of AI to help us build software faster at Edify, but that software is not necessarily using AI to help the customers in the application. That's the difference.
And I can just add to that. So 2 things. 1, did everything go to the internet? No.
I was going to say.
Because there's applications that you need air-gapped. There's stuff that you absolutely do not want connected to the internet. So the everything part is a bit too much for my taste. That's 1. And 2, just beyond the air-gapped sort of analogy, you guys know my position. And if you're one of our 3 loyal listeners, you will also know my position on this. Doing calculations with LLMs is the incorrect way of doing this. So here's the actual example. If you work in a financial services business, specifically banks are slow to adopt AI, not because AI does not work, but because a lot of the computations within banks need to be numerical and 100% accurate all the time. So these institutions do not adopt AI for computational part of their work because they need it to be always accurate. And you know what that is? That is math. That is deterministic. And that's exactly why that is not going to AI. Now, the workflows around that, the OCRing of customer application documents, of course, a bank is going to adopt that the exact same way, but they would never be too stupid to actually then let the calculations based on what the OCR did also run through the LLM. That goes into a computational engine, and that's called a computer.
Wonderfully put.
We have a whole initiative.
Hey, Lena.
Hey.
Hey, Lena.
Hello.
How
Lena,
are you?
very nice to meet you. Unfortunately,
Nice
I have
see
to
you
drop.
guys.
But I told the guys that you're building an amazing company and every listener should stay in. It's a really cool business. Lena, I'll see you next time.
Thank you,
You're so
Patrick.
kind. Thank you, Patrick.
Ciao.
See you next week,
Hey,
sir.
Patrick.
Hey, Lena, how's it going? Hey, Martin, this is like the old Bricks and Vice days.
Yeah.
Just you and I interviewing founders, building their thing.
Yes.
Do you
Love
still-
it. I'm
can
good.
you-
Thank you. How are you guys?
We're great. Thank you. You're in Munich, right?
Yes, exactly. We just moved into our new office.
We
Nice.
we had a discussion last week with someone building technology. They were based in Berlin, but they were from Munich. And we asked them a question, which I think would be good because maybe we're creating some side piece of content out there. So which is the better city to build tech in Germany? Is Munich or Berlin?
Constructiontech specifically.
Constructiontech, you mean?
Either.
I mean, there I have, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't constrain it to a city at all, really. I mean, there are great companies coming from Metzing, for example, Neue Robotics, and then there are great companies coming from Munich or Berlin. But we have a great community here. So, and a lot of them are building hardware startups and many of them are building deep tech startups. So we face the same problems and that does help. So, I mean, I would always choose Munich.
Yeah, very good. Good answer. Nice. Okay, Lena, why don't you tell us? So 4 million euros pre-seed round, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. just give us some information, like about the product. Like obviously it's a robotics, but yeah, I'll let you do the presentation.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Maybe just one comment on your previous question. What really is an advantage for construction is being in the south of Germany, because Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg, they're the more rich countries in Germany, so they have more construction sites. It's like
That can afford
it's a local
technology.
advantage.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good for you.
So yeah. Yeah, so we don't have to travel that fast to customers. So yeah, we're Sitegeist. We're building the new Zeitgeist of construction. It's a German word, which entails like building a new era, and we are forming it. And we are 4 co-founders building construction robotics, specifically focusing on concrete renovation. And I can dive into that if you want. We are a spin-out from the Technical University of Munich. Just came out there last year in June. And yeah, with that energy, we raised our first round, which was the pre-seed round. And we're really happy with our investors, European investors. And we think it's great that they want to invest in construction tech.
Mm. What kind of robots? You mentioned focused on the concrete, like to pour the concrete, to mix the concrete, or to demolish concrete, or what to do with this concrete?
Yeah. So concrete gets rotten after some time, usually between 25 and 40 years. Just a natural process because salt and water gets into concrete, and then the rebar within concrete rusts. And this really is a risk for the static of buildings, tunnels, and bridges. And since it's a normal process, after some time, everybody knows we need to maintain this bridge or this tunnel. And what this means is you need to remove the rotten concrete. And then the rotten concrete is taken away, the rebar is being freed from rust, and new concrete is being put on there again. And then it's renovated. And this is the simple process. And what we're doing is we're starting with the removal of concrete. And this is done manually today with high pressure water lenses. There's so much pressure on there that a human being can only do this for roughly 30 minutes in a row. And for example, I cannot stand on my 2 feet holding this high pressure water lens. It's 3,000 bar pressure.
Wow.
So it's always 30
That's a lot.
kilograms working against you. Yeah. And so this really does sound like a problem that could be solved by robots. And this is why we're doing it. So we're using the exact same process. We're not changing the process at all. We're just putting the water lens on the robot, and the robot is doing the job.
It's like you're talking about bridges as well, or mostly buildings right now. I'm asking in the context of access and how the robot can access, I don't know, constrained sites like bridges, for example, are very difficult to access when there's an issue with concrete or these pillars and all of that.
Yeah. I mean, I always take the example of bridges because that's something that people understand, because those are also the ones that are quite annoying when you cannot drive over them because they're being maintained. But actually, the bigger market is parking garages. So 60% of the market that needs concrete removal is parking garages. And this is also the easier part for robots because it's quite easy to access. Bridges, I have to say, will be on our to-do list really at the later stages because obviously you need to get up by a crane. Sometimes you have special rivers beneath, so the concrete cannot fall into the river. And yeah, there's so many things to pay attention to. Parking garages, tunnels are really our thing.
So, Lena, could you, Aman, did you want to go? You've got another one.
I just want to ask, once you remove, so first stage is to remove the, you call it rotten concrete, and clean the rebar, clean the surface. And would the robot also apply like remedial mortar on top of this? Or that's another stage?
Yeah, I love that question. And yeah, you're thinking into the right direction. That will definitely come. That's also one of our USPs. The robot is entirely super modular. That's what we call it, because we're from the chair of Matthias Althoff, and they're building super modular robots, which means maintenance is also quite easy. Yeah. And so this will not be our last use case.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it makes sense for natural expansion. Yeah. Lena, can you tell us, like, how does the How does this actually get deployed onto I don't know, like, are you working on construction sites? Are these more like one-off projects where it's just a concrete remediation happening? Is it part of like a bigger construction program that these robots are on site? Could you just explain that? And then, explain that first and I'll follow up.
Yeah. So what usually happens is that the owner of a parking garage, for example, sees that the parking garage needs some maintenance, and there's actually a legal it's legally binding to do so after 25 to 40 years. So at some point, the owner knows I need to do something, and then they're going to the general contractor and asking them, please help me. And then the general contractor oversees the entire construction site from many different subcontractors. The first one being actually the one analyzing the construction site. So it's usually an engineering or architecture agency or office, and they're analyzing how rotten the concrete really is, which parts need to be removed entirely, which parts just need like minor changes. And once that plan is made, then the next subcontractor comes on site. It's usually the ones removing the concrete, and after that, another subcontractor comes to site and putting the new concrete on there again. So it's many subcontractors being involved in a huge construction site. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so are you therefore then selling the robot as as like a subcontractor to the contractor who's doing the works? Is there like a different model there?
Yeah.
You are a subcontractor.
Yeah,
Fine.
I mean, Patrick and I, we've been in contact for a longer time, and I love his work on and his thoughts on which business model works for the construction site. And since we're also building something entirely new, those robots aren't easy to be used by just normal construction workers. And I mean, this will happen with higher autonomy, and we will get there. But in the meantime, being a subcontractor is the only thing that will work. And while doing that, we also think it's the best thing to do for construction sites
Very good.
for
Okay.
deploying new technology.
Yeah. Okay. Last one on like this go to market kind of thought then. How it's kind of subjective, but like, what is the reception from the people, the contractors, thinking about how to actually implement robotics on their construction sites? Because this is always a point of contention, especially in discussions that we have on Bricks and Bytes. It's like, yeah, robots are difficult to implement on construction site for various reasons, including like health and safety, interaction with other trades, the logistics, etc. So, how's your experience been with that? Any kind of breakthroughs or difficulties, lessons learned, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, since we're owning the robots, it's like if we do something quite bad or we cannot deliver the robot, we're kind of it's our fault, and we're also the ones that are in charge of it. So what we did, for example, so that we have a really easy process to go to the construction site, is that we built the robot in a way that it can always fit into a van. So we don't need special licenses. This is the first thing. So from a size perspective, it's quite small, which is also quite hard because it needs to withhold a lot of strength and pressure. But we did achieve that. So that was a major milestone to make the logistics part easier. And then with the perception on the customer side, I mean, we're talking to both subcontractors and general contractors, and they're really open, obviously, because it's a job that no one wants to do, and it's a job that really needs to be done. We have this maintenance backlog all over the world, basically. So they're really pressuring us to go to site faster. It's mainly on our tech side, which we are struggling with at this point because we're so early. But I would say customer side is really open. However, only if they're able to use it, obviously. And there more autonomy needs to happen. So the usage of the robot is without friction. And when it comes to things laying around on construction site or so, quite easy for us at this point, because when you do concrete removal, everything is quite clean and nothing is in there. But if we go to other use cases, it will become a problem at some point, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, insightful.
Mm.
Martin, do you have some?
Yes. What's most difficult right now, or what's most challenging?
Yeah, building a robot that's robust for like 90% of the time. So, I mean, in the lab it works. In the lab it's perfect, but then on site things happen that you can't foresee. And building that robustness is also, it's not a matter of we don't think it's possible, because it's definitely possible, but you have to be really patient because it needs a lot of testing. And I think when you're a founder, you want to go fast and want to reach the milestone fast, but building hardware needs patience. And this is the hardest part, I think, at this point.
What's your like iteration cycle, more or less? Like, is it 1 day, 5 weeks, or how are you thinking about trying, testing, and then drawing conclusions and going to the next one?
Yeah. So software is 1 week, hardware is 2 weeks at this point, but it depends. We have hardware cycles that are longer and hardware cycles which are shorter. So if any one of you, also the ones listening, had a cool view on how to manage hardware cycles, we would love to hear them, because it's not not as easy as it is with software. And also we're testing software and hardware separately, so we're not dependent there. And then we have obviously system tests when they come together, and we are building a test field at this moment. So until now, we've only tested in our lab or real construction sites, but this is a hassle driving to construction site every time. So we are building a test field next to our office at this moment. So we have it much easier there.
And are you using the components of the robot? Are these off-shelf elements that you can like order online, or these are more bespoke things that you use?
I would say 90% off the shelf and 10% bespoke. So we're really trying to get everything from somewhere else and not build it ourselves. We're reaching limits there. So, for example, the robot arm we're buying from the industry. At the moment, we're using a Robco arm. We also have a Fanuc arm. I mean, we're testing with multiple, but those are not made for the construction site. And at some point, we will probably build our own. But in order to minimize development time at this point, we're trying to get everything from the shelf. And many things, for example, the sensor systems are great. We have them from the automotive industry, and
Without asking you like how much the robot costs to build it, etc., but what is your best guess of, if at all, what will be the decrease of costs on annual basis to produce the robots? I'm not asking about a figure right now, but how are you thinking about perhaps robots every year becoming cheaper to build or to sell at some point for you?
I mean, the sensors are crazy. In the past 5 to 10 years, I mean, they've dropped in prices of nearly 100%. So, I mean, that helps. I mean, we have many metal parts, so there doesn't really
Changes.
make a difference. The arm is really a thing. And I mean, Robco is already quite cheap. And I guess it's really hard for me to tell a number. And I need to also tell you, we have chosen this use case because margins are great there, because that we can have a flexibility of a little bit more expensive hardware, and I think that's very important.
That's okay.
Just very quickly, then we're out of time. But how did you without going too far back? But I just want you to take you back to that moment, like you're a roboticist, and like at some point you decided you're going to start a business building robots, serving in an industry. How did you come up with, or why did you decide that concrete renovation was the area that you were going to focus on and tackle?
Yeah. Also, sometimes customers are like, "Why have you chosen such a hard one?" at the
I think it's
beginning?
great, by the way. I'm a huge fan. Like these,
It's a
little
niche for sure.
niche,
It's
exactly,
a niche for
these
sure.
use cases.
Yeah.
But that's not the end game either, right? Like you start here and then you expand. So
Yeah,
tell us.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, actually, we didn't choose it. The customers chose it for us. So this is also how the project started. So the chair of Professor Matthias Althoff, they've been researching on robots for a long time. I mean, it's the same chair where Robco came out of. And at some point, a construction firm came to the chair and was like, "You're building robots for the industry, for the manufacturing industry, but please, can we have some of them too? Like, can you make them happen on construction sites?" And that was the starting point. And then one of my co-founders, Julian Hoffman, he was researching on that topic with a professor at that point. That was 4 or 5 years ago. And the construction firm said, it should be concrete removal. And really,
Mm.
we looked from it from all angles. We're like, does it make sense from a technological point? Does it make sense from an economic point of view? How does it play together? And we've never, ever found anything more interesting for the stage we're in right now. So we're sticking with it.
Very good.
Great story. What next? Just one word.
What next in use case?
Yeah.
Or what do you mean?
Like, where will you go after concrete renovation? Like, what
Um,
kind of is a logical next step? Maybe you already hinted at earlier, thinking about it, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, roughening surfaces with sand, I think. So that's sandblastering.
For better adhesive properties.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Nice.
cool. Lena, great story. Love it. We'll be following the journey. Good luck to you and the team at Sitegeist. Looking forward to seeing a Sitegeist robot at a parking lot near you soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Of course.
Thank
Good
you,
work.
Lena.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Yeah?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we wrap this up then.
Yeah. How are you? Any news?
Okay.
Any news or no? No news from you?
I think that maybe some things people will be interested in, which we touch upon sometimes, is that total commitments to future data centers is now across the big five. Sorry, $969 billion. So this is like future commitments. Yeah, this is like stuff that's not currently being built, but like in the future, these companies will spend at least $969 billion. So this is like pure investment in the growth and how
That's all around the world, not only US. You saying, or it's in the US?
I would guess globally
Mm-hmm.
based on this data. So yeah, it's like you they're placing a bet, yeah, that like the technology will that data centers will be the core of technology for years to come, which I guess is a pretty safe bet these days.
Well, let's hope. Life is so fast. Last few days, weeks, I would say that we can't be sure what's the next thing we will have to be focusing on.
That's very true. A war could start any second now, yeah, and change everything. Procore also new CFO, new CRO, which they announced on the same day, and it comes from their new CEO Ajay Gopal was obviously CEO at Ansys, and he has brought now along with him his CFO and CRO, which will be interesting because this is like now pure enterprise SaaS play, yeah? Like there may be some major changes as to how Procore specifically is sold and scaled. And I know there was a lot of friction previously around their pricing models. So it's an interesting
your
one
guess
to
is
watch.
that it will change based on conversations with people? Maybe Chris said something?
No
No?
signals as to what will change yet. But the fact that they're bringing in these like veterans of the enterprise SaaS world, you expect that something will change. We just don't know what yet. In construction, UK construction, I've been talking a couple of last few weeks about how UK construction is like on the down, but PwC they dropped a construction outlook and they're forecasting 1.7% output growth in 2026, driven by infrastructure and energy, which obviously is like data centers and the everything that goes into that. But residential remains stuck. So actually, this is becoming very reflective of how the US market is right now. Data centers booming, residential sectors not doing so well.
But you said 1.6%?
1.7.
Output. So the pound value it will increase 1.7. However, the bad news is that the inflation rate is more than that, which means that in nominal terms it works well, but in real terms it is actually negative growth. So there's no growth.
Still better than what we have been seeing coming out of recent data, which would have been double bad.
True. Yeah, I see like lots of mixed signals, but I don't know if my size of projects I work on are good to evaluate the residential market for sure, but more commercial projects, I have no insight into that. And there are weeks that are super busy with new inquiries, but there are weeks that everything kind of dies down and settles.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I mean, you would know as well as running your business. It's never like a straight line, right? It's like
True.
up and to the right, hopefully, but up and down in between. Two other like interesting pieces of news. What recently, which has been doing the rounds and getting a bit of popularity in the tech space, is that Amazon has had some major security issues with its software development because it has been using AI, which has caused like outages. And I think for 6 hours in the last week or so, the Amazon was almost completely down. And they blaming it on the fact that their software engineers are using AI to launch features.
Instead of doing the real work.
Yeah.
Mm.
And finally, we'll end on this one. Volkswagen.
Yeah, I
Cutting-
was going to mention this. Yeah. Shane
What,
Patrick is not here. Yeah.
Cutting jobs.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
when I saw it yesterday, I said, like, fucking hell, what's going on here?
Yeah,
well,
that's
I know what's
crazy,
going on. I know what's going on, but it is crazy.
50,000 jobs
Yeah.
in Germany will be gone by 2030. Profit fell nearly 44% in 2025, the lowest since 2016. BYD,
Yeah.
which is a Chinese manufacturer, grew European sales 252% last year.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Way cheaper than German competitors.
Mm.
And Volkswagen's EV pilot, slowing consumer demand. Yeah.
Yeah, people will
Interesting to
blame
see
it
that.
on various things. I think tariffs and, maybe even Russia, Ukraine, or situation in Israel and Iran. But I think people should focus on energy prices and how can we make sure that we can manufacture things cheaply in here, and how can we reduce the cost of the base layer, which is energy. Yeah. We have apparently in Europe, in Germany particularly, apparently there's the cost of energy for the not residential but commercial use case is 3 times more expensive than in certain states in the US. So, like, what are we talking about? If your baseline is 3 times more than somewhere else, like
you can't compete, can you?
Yeah, you can't.
Simply put. Okay, cool. Let's wrap this up. See.